Hello, Western Civ 105. Welcome to week 6. This is the last week we have before finals. And I hope that it's going smooth for you. Congratulations to all of you who got this far. And I just want to say before I clarify some points about this week that if you have any late work and we didn't have an arrangement of taking in late work, you cannot just turn in late work for me at this point. We are going to be, soon I will be grading everything and have it all turned in next week. I cannot have a bunch of late work dumped on me. And if we did not have a discussion prior to this, then that's going to be a problem. So if you have late work you want to turn in and we have not had a discussion, contact me first and let me take a look at how much you have and what you're wanting to have happen, and then I'll take a look and see what we can do. Okay? If you have any issues with the way I graded or comments that I made, this is the week to resolve that as well. I promise you I'm very approachable. I can make mistakes or misunderstand something. I will allow you to make a case for yourself if there was a grade on a paper or a statement of mine that didn't sit right with you. Let's go over that, okay? I just had a student that called me up and we discussed, and they didn't know why that they had such a low score on their paper. They didn't realize how much they misunderstood the topic. It was very understandable. Their grade still wasn't what they wanted, but at least they didn't feel like they were being ripped off or unfairly graded. And it was a very understandable confusion of terms. It was from another class. So that gave, I think, a certain peace of mind to the student to feel like, okay, now I get it. And then they actually finally understood the subject better as well. So so feel free to contact me, please, if there's anything like that we need to go over. I feel like this is one of the most important sections to go over, especially in today's current political environment. What is the state of the West? All the statues being tore down in the United States and in Europe. In Belgium, there's been issues about King Leopold's statue still being up. Well, now you understand who King Leopold was in the Congo, right? Why people are upset. This isn't U.S. history, so we didn't cover the U.S. Civil War, or I didn't go over the debate whether or not that the Confederacy stood for states' rights or for slavery. By the way, Google Declarations of Secession by the South and Declarations of Secession by the South, and you will see that the Southern states did say that while they were leaving the Union to defend slavery. It's very explicitly clear. I just want to say in the documents. But my point is that whether it's Europe or the United States, there's been a kind of existential crisis that I was talking about. And so on one hand, you have a certain kind of political strand that says we got to throw it all out. It's rotten to the core. Then you have others that say the West is the best, and they overlook some of these more problematic histories, or even go as far as to celebrate them regardless. And so, and we're not getting a lot of people going in between. But at the same time, we are in practice. If you look how much multiculturalism is going on and how many things from the West that are still embraced and positive aspects of it, much of the good story is the untold story, right? But it's a complex set of issues, and at least as you kind of end on this note, you will have an opportunity to really reflect on what is at stake and the drama taking place. Now, one of the things that we're not covering in this class is to really understand just the full extent as to what's driving the refugee crisis. I mean, we know about the civil war in Syria or what's happening in Libya, but also, if I didn't make this very clear, the maps, I mean, Europe is actually quite close to the Middle East and Africa, much closer than a lot of times that everybody in the United States thinks about. Because for those of us living in the U.S., we're living in a huge country, and we only share borders with 2 countries. That's unheard of for most nation states. And so think about that. Now, I also talked about, I have a clip from Casablanca, and I'm hoping you're reading what I say in there, of trying to see what the irony is in that. I have a clip ending on the harvest of empire, and mainly because I wanted us to think about, well, first of all, is Latin America a part of the Western world? The majority speak Spanish or Portuguese. Spanish and Portuguese come from Europe, right? The political systems in many ways are still structures that came out of Europe and the West. Do people living in the United States think of the South as a part of the Western world? Does Europe think of Latin America as a part of the Western world? That's a very interesting question and a topic that we didn't fully explore. But what we do see is that the United States has not looked at the South as equal partners. The treatment of our foreign policy of Latin America is, the documentary makes it pretty clear. And the evidence is very strong in this case. This is a very biased documentary, but I guarantee you'll have a hard time finding any alternative documentary that can create a counter narrative to the historical things addressed in that documentary. But it's it's an interesting world. When I got to go travel last year and a little bit of the year before, I went to Sweden to my great-great-grandfather's village. I think I talked about that before. And it's a very quiet and small town, but not far off from that area is where the head of the Swedish Democrats is from. And the Swedish Democrats, while it sounds nice, Swedish Democrats, they're rooted in the far right. Actually, they used to have actual Nazis, official Nazis in their party. And they've removed that official, I think now no one can say that in the party, but basically that party still holds many of the same political views and has become quite popular. And I remember I talked to a lady that I liked very much there in Sweden, but she found quite a bit of sympathy towards the Swedish Democrats, and it was over the issue of immigration. So, these kind of situations are real. And a lot of my friends in Europe and some of the people I talk to at bars in the Netherlands and so forth, the refugee topic is definitely a topic either way, no matter what people's political points of view. And so, anyhow, once again, I hope that you found this informative and engaging. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Other than that, I'll be working from home today and tomorrow, and then I work at the consignment shop on Saturday, and then I'll be working from home Sunday. I hope you all have at least some enjoyable weekend in some way coming up.